Something has got to change. That's the message from one of hundreds of parents who've lost a child to suicide after it was revealed more than 600 New Zealanders took their own lives in the year to June. The figures released by the Chief Coroner, Deborah Marshall, showed the highest annual number of suicide deaths since statistics were first recorded in 2007. Adriana Webber reports.
Matt Neal was a football-loving 22-year-old who flew through high school and had a knack for ripping up the dance floor. His father, Barry, recalls him always having an infectious smile on his face. But beneath the grin, Matt was struggling, and he kept that to himself until he took his own life in October last year.
My boy was in my house 2 nights before he took his life, and I had absolutely no idea whatsoever. We were joking away, we were playing table tennis together, we were talking about sport and all sorts of stuff, and I didn't have a clue. And yet 2 days later he takes his life. So yeah, when your boy takes his life and you didn't actually have any idea of what it was that was eating away at him, and that's a hard one to swallow.
Matt was one of 79 people aged between 20 and 24 who took their lives in the year to June, the age group with the most suicide deaths. The rate among men in that age group was particularly high, with 61 deaths. Mr. Neal says he thinks many young men, like his son, feel they can't reach out for help.
That age group is the age group where they're cool, they're tough. They don't want to sit there and tell other people what their problems are. They prefer to try and knuckle out themselves. But yeah, that sort of culture that's kicking in New Zealand to toughen up is costing a lot of lives, I think.
New Zealand's annual suicide toll now stands at 606, having risen for 3 years in a row. Jane Stevens, whose son Nicky Stevens took his own life after being let out from a mental health facility in 2015, agrees that the suicide toll is devastating. She's part of a campaign run by the group Yes We Care, which is trying to shed light on the issue by taking shoes around the country, each pair representing a life lost to suicide.
All these mothers, fathers, uncles, aunties, sisters, brothers, sons, daughters, cousins, partners, they're all gone. All these empty shoes representing these lives that are ruined, and families whose lives are turned upside down. And I mean, we're one of them, and we don't want to see this happen to anyone else. And it keeps happening, and it keeps getting worse.
Jane Stevens hopes the campaign will prompt an urgent inquiry into New Zealand's mental health crisis and spur some action.
We're talking about more than double the road toll here, the number of people that we're losing. I mean, how can people just sit back and allow that to happen? It gobsmacks me, and it's got to change,
The Chief Executive of the Mental Health Foundation, Sean Robinson, sees the suicide figures are only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to mental health issues.
We need to remember the hidden statistics too, that young women tend to self-harm. Self-harm is all part of this bigger picture. Around about 20,000 people a year on top of the number that take their own life, attempt to take their own life.
Sean Robinson says the increase in suicides shows the lack of a unified suicide prevention strategy. Māori continue to have the highest suicide rate of all ethnic groups, with 130 lives lost. For Cherckpoint, Adriana Webber.